Hi guys, and welcome back to Pass the Move. And for today's episode, the game against Napoli, as promised, a huge game, absolutely season-defining one. And a couple of games we played since the last episode, I'm sure you noticed already, but we are in 5th place with just a single point separating us from a possible 3rd place if both Inter and Fiorentina lose their matches. Now, Napoli have already qualified for the Champions League. Inter and Fiorentina and ourselves have qualified for the Europa League. Obviously, all three teams would want Champions League football because of the finances and because of the prestige involved as well. Now, since the last episode that we showed you, the loss against Arsenal in the Europa League, we've managed to beat both Benevento and Chievo as well. Benevento was kind of a straightforward 1-0 win in the 70th minute from Andre Silva, and he managed to come around, put in a man of the match performance again by setting up Hakan in the 85th minute and scoring a winner in the 93rd minute himself. An incredible striker. Suso had a terrible game against Chievo. And basically a very late comeback win, and the tactical changes I made me realize that next season we could set up ourselves to have an incredible season in truth, because the tactics seem to work incredibly well, and is the formation that I talked about last time, which is changing our 3-man back line and just going up with 2 strikers up there. We're going to have one defensive midfielder and a deep line playmaker in Lucas, and a box-to-box midfielder in Kessie, and both the inside forwards on either flank, of course. So it seemed to work against Chievo, and we managed to turn the result completely around. Of course, playing direct helps when you have more players further up the pitch. We've only stuck with a 3-man defense or a 5-man backline now, because we've just had too many quality central defenders. In truth, it's difficult to drop any of these players in Bonucci, Romagnoli or Musacchio. And of course, if we are going to drop someone next season, it's going to be either one on Musacchio or Romagnoli. It's not going to be Bonucci, because he is by far the best central defender we have at the club. So I might be tempted to do it against Napoli, but we're going to start with our usual tactics, so we don't just switch things around for one game at the last moment and try and throw everyone in there, hope for the best. But very, definitely season defining. We're expected to get Europa League football. I think the board are pretty much happy with it, but I've made a number of promises to my players let's see if I can have a look here, to qualify for the Champions League. So both Matteo and Romagnoli are going to be complaining if we don't qualify for the Champions League. I've already lost our other opportunity through the Europa League, so today's game is hugely important. We have to ensure we win our game, but we have to hope that either one of these teams drop points. And just to give you an idea of the full picture, you've got Inter, who are playing Atlanta, who are in 15th place, so they're likely to not really care about the result. They're away from home, Inter, though, so that kind of works in our favour a little bit. Atlanta are going to care because they're going to try and avoid relegation. It's very much quite open for these teams here. It's actually Fiorentina's opponents who won't care so much, if I can find them. Their last game will be against Verona, who are in 11th and pretty much have nothing to play for. No Europa League football, kind of just mid-table. And even if they win their game, their position doesn't change. It's only if they lose that they drop points, and again, doesn't have a real impact on their season. But again, both Inter and Fiorentina are away from home in comparison to ourselves, who are at home. Napoli have nothing to play for in truth other than pride. Even though they drop points, they're not going anywhere. If they win points, they're not going anywhere either, and they have Champions League football in the bag, so I'm hoping that works in our favour. But of course, Napoli, a very difficult team. We'll have to try and secure a win nonetheless with this team. Quite disappointingly, a front trio that's not made up of our best players and even our central midfield as well. A couple of players, key players, are missing. At least we've got a first team choice in terms of our defenders. Conti, Alessio, Leonardo, Matteo, Riccardo, all our first choice defenders. Lucas had the terrible game last time, so Locatelli is going to have an opportunity to shine. Kessie continues his decent but not hugely impressive form. Barini comes in for a very disappointing Suso, and Hakan is going to play on the left for us after impressing with Bonaventura, disappointing as Silva continues his impressive form, managing to grab 21 goals. And it's nice to see both my strikers with 20 goals plus this season. But yeah, so hopefully we can do it. It's pretty much just Riccardo Montolivo who's the only player out for 3 to 6 weeks, and this is, I'm not going to get fired. It's very unlikely I'm going to get fired for missing out on Champions League football, but I am going to lose out on 2 players in particular, and it's likely other players are going to complain once we don't get Champions League football. And at the same time, it's just going to set us back if we don't get Champions League football, because next season we want to aim for the title. So let's see what happens. Let's get into the game finally against Napoli. Gonna have the replays set on extended because we only have a single game today, so we don't need to put it on key highlights and rush through things. Hopefully we'll get a bunch of nice little highlights. Napoli playing with a 3-man midfield to R2, so it's, our front trio and as well as our back line are gonna have to be very efficient, I suppose, and if need be, we will throw an extra striker there onto the pitch and see what can happen for us. But yeah, definitely, Napoli's front trio are up there with anyone in the Serie A, so we're going to have to look out for all three of these players here. And they've got some very impressive players, as they're shown in real life. But I'm hoping their goalkeeper, which is kind of their weakness in truth, if we can take advantage of him, and possibly the right-back spot there doesn't look too strong. So a lot for Hakan to do today. So yeah, nothing to encourage in particular. We can't be demanding. We can go with the revenge team talk, and that always seems to work, but whether the players can prove that on the pitch as well would be a different story entirely. Let's make sure we got replays set. We just want to see the goals and highlights are on extended, and we can kick off 2D match play and 3D replays. So nice little combination, and hopefully there's plenty of replays, goal replays, but all in our favour. Borini. Napoli immediately in a quite a defensive setup. I mean, they're playing with a 4-3-3 but have every man behind the balls. Kind of surprising seeing Milik drop into our defensive midfield. They're quick to close us down though, so we're going to try and get in behind them by, pretty much doing what Ricardo Rodriguez was trying to do, which is pass into space. But we're going to have better balls into the box, and that's one there from Hakan. Very decent header in truth. I mean, the game considers that a clear-cut chance within 35 minutes, but I think it's a bit of a difficult one to convert, so I'm not really going to hold Hakan to that. But the highlight continues, so you have to wonder whether Napoli are going to punish us, and here they are going to try at least through Insigne. Close them down relatively well, but Hamsik's there. Very intense start here, and I'm hoping for a long stupid shot from Diawara, and that was the case, but how it does end. There's definitely end-to-end stuff, but we have to make sure we are more clinical than we have been from large parts of the season. Hakan's trying to win that header, but it's never going to happen, and Callion can try and get Napoli on the way. Pretty much just one player ahead of him. He does try and help build things up through Hamsik, and now Insigne again trying to punish us. We have to be very careful and maintain our line through to Milik. We've done relatively well there, and just lobbed it forward to Silva. It's not necessarily smart football, and I'm hoping to see better decision making from my players than that. Bonici cuts out the danger once more. Alessio, Conti, back to Bonici, but I mean, it was intended for someone else, and Diawara can have a little go there, and I don't mind that at all. But early indications are, and this is going to be one hell of a crazy game, and I'm more tempted now to switch to a 2-striker formation, because it seems like we really need it in truth. Conti down the line for Borini. If he can deliver the cross, he does to Hakan. This time we can't finish it again, and you don't really expect your inside forwards to have good heading, but both those opportunities were fairly good opportunities, and if he was just a bit efficient, we would have been 2-0 up already. But the first goal in particular, and the first opportunity, like I mentioned, a difficult header to convert, but you always hope your players can do better there. But if need be, we've got Bonaventura, Nicola and Suso all on the bench, as well as Lucas, who can come in for Locatelli. So even though our starting 11 isn't our strongest available one, we can definitely have plenty of impact subs if need be. It's nice to have the options. And it looks like we might have to rely on them the way things are going, because this back and forth is insane. Very high tempo stuff from Napoli as well. Not only do they seem to play direct and play at a high tempo, but they always close us down quite well too, so we have to keep an eye on that. Alessio closes down Napoli well though, and Hakan tries to play an early through ball to Silva. If he can win it here, he's through. Can he finish though? I should have said, can he get it on target, because that was probably a bit more accurate, and it looks like the 3 players I mentioned earlier, Suso, Nicola and Bonaventura, are all going to be called upon, because our front trio so far are disappointing us. Anyways, Napoli's front 3 trying to cause us damage. Hamsik back to Akanji. Oh, decent delivery to his teammate, and eventually it's just a long shot from Allen, but again we'll take that. And so far Napoli 6 long shots, or 6 shots, and none of them on target, and now it's 7 with 1 on target. But I think we've looked a hint more dangerous, but it really does look like it's all going to come down to which team is more efficient, and we're going to try and pass into space, hit the early crosses and run at the defense a bit more and see if that helps us. The early stages seem to indicate that these little tactical tweaks will help us a bit more in the game. I'm not a fan of how much possession we've had, but you know, as long as we're creating chances, then it doesn't really matter, does it? Passing to space seemed to work for the majority of those 30 minutes. If we can try and do a bit more of that, then we might come away with something before half time. But Napoli are trying to do that themselves. Diawara with the ball spreads out wide to Gulam quite well, and he just plays it to his partner on the flank. Insigne though cuts inside to Hamsik, and Diawara's free again with that three-man midfield taking advantage. Rodriguez not man marking this guy right here. Who is he? I've forgotten which number 7 is that. Callion, I think it is, and there you go. Failing to man mark him effectively, and Napoli can try with the corner. Bunic should do better as a ball-playing defender, in truth. He just lobs it down the wing for Silva, but Silva was never making that run in the first place. Anyways, Locatelli, deep line playmaker all the way forward, our furthest man forward, but either way, Barini is there to pick up the pieces. He's just smart with the ball here, which he isn't. We could have gotten things going quite well. Milik drops deep for it, holds the ball up well for his team and finds Insigne. And Gulam is with the ball again. Hamsik moving the ball about well. Napoli once more. Diawara trying to find that through pass, but he can't, so he just takes that long shot. And again, I'll have that all day. Alright, Lorenzo's picked up a nice little knock for us. That's good. Locatelli, can he find a teammate now? Does well to get Hakan, but the delivery is more important. Decent ball. Barini's at the far post, down to Silva, and eventually it is in, and we do go 1-0 up before half time. Question is, can we hold on to it until half time and potentially even into the final 90 minutes? As I think if you saw that little notification, it does move us up to 4th, so it's an incredibly important goal. I was going to scream my guts out at this player, not here. Hakan delivers to Barini, and he decides to head down instead of go for the shot himself. But I guess is the correct call, because Silva, one hell of a shot, and he shows he can finish, but that chance he had earlier would have been a better opportunity for him to prove his clinicalness. But either way, Lorenzo it picked up a little bit of a knock. Callion seems to be struggling as well as Milik, not having 2 great games, I suppose. And as long as this continues in our favour, I don't think Napoli are going to have too much fight in them. They look particularly exhausted, as well as not really have anything on the line for them, but they're still going to try by the looks of it. Lorenzo with the delivery. Cleared only to Conti though, and he just heads it forward to Alan, and Koulibaly, who's further ahead than he probably would have liked, can find his fullback. Callion though now, you don't want that delivering to the far post because they've got a man there. Hamsik, that's a dangerous shot, but Atlanta 1, Inter 1, and I think it does look like we could get into the Champions League spots by the way that things are going so far, but it's not over. We still got another 45 minutes to navigate through, and the way this highlight's going, we might have another opportunity to move it into 2-0. Barini should have made a better run. In truth, Alessio wasn't at fault for trying to play that ball. His teammate just didn't make the run, and this is the type of run that Lorenzo's making here. Conti needs to shut him down, but instead he still finds Milik. Don't tell me, of course he finds Callion. Ricardo Rodriguez's marking is incredibly poor for fullback. It's ridiculous. I feel like he's neither a good attacking fullback or a defending fullback. It's just a bit weird. His look at this positioning and marking, not the greatest attributes, but should be decent enough to deal with it. And then when it comes to playing as a support, his crossing comes into factor, but he's not that great in crossing either. It says attribute 17, but I'm hoping he can prove me wrong, because I really haven't seen him putting any decent balls into the box today, or in general as well. Lorenzo though, getting the physio's help. Hopefully not too much of it, but the highlight does continue, and I'm hoping this amounts to nothing. They throwed up everyone forward other than their 2 defenders. We've got everyone back except for one of our trio, which I think is our right winger, Barini. And we need to clear this ball and try and hit them on the counter. I'm hoping this is what the highlight's working towards, and this is just that one of those weird highlights that games tries to show you, and it just ends right after the physio takes Lorenzo off the pitch. This is a weird one. Match engine, hello, please. Don't tell me they're going to score with a man down. Yes, of course they were. Great. Koulibaly punishing us from the set piece. And that drops us down back to 5th position. And not the ideal result. We've lost both to Fiorentina and Inter, I believe, in the league, which puts them in a better position. And remember, Serie A is not a goal difference league. It is a results between two teams league. And that means we're in dangerous trouble unless we actually secure the win and either one of Fiorentina draw or lose their games. So at this point, we desperately need a goal, and Koulibaly set his team up really well for the second half because in truth, despite all these shots, they haven't looked that dangerous. It's disappointing to concede from a corner when they were a man down. Alright, it's time to encourage everyone. We weren't favourites for the game, so I think the dig-in team talk is the one to go for. Seems to have worked relatively well. I think pass into space hasn't necessarily done too much for us. We're going to go into attack and see if that helps us a bit more, but we might be tempted to go, or I am actually a bit tempted to go into the work ball into the box and look for overlap instructions because we haven't really had that many shots. 4 and 2 on target. We've created decent chances, but our possession stats and whatnot don't look too convincing. Either way, we're on attack, nothing to lose at this point, and Kessie's putting in a poor performance as well as Rodriguez. And this isn't the time for poor performances in truth. A lot is on the line here, and even though the players are, they look composed, they're not really showing it, I suppose. But yeah, I'm hoping to take advantage. The more the game goes on, the more tired these guys get. We're definitely more fitter, so we should be more clinical at the end of the game. And Conti plays a ball down the line for Boldrini, delivers into the box, but outnumbered heavily. And Kessie can head down, he should have head down to Hakan, but instead it's just to a Napoli player, and they're going to try get going on the counter again. Servi in for Lorenzo. I'm hoping he doesn't have as good a game. Kessie forward to Hakan, but again another poor ball. He's begging to be substituted off. There's a couple of players who really need to be moved on at the earliest opportunity. Servi again with the ball. The overlap is there for him, and he does use it with Golam there. We just have to stop the cross from coming in, but we can't. Milik is there, he rises and he scores. It's one hell of a header in truth. He's got 3 central defenders there and he still manages to get the shot away. And something desperately needs to change. Let's go for that and see what happens. We need to grow into the game a bit more than we have been. We've started fairly well, but we've fallen far quickly. And the set piece, tell me it amounts to something. No, it doesn't. They're just heading it between themselves, and then eventually just goes out for a corner. And now we're losing a game that we desperately needed to win and not just draw. Silva, Locatelli, forward to, I think that was Silva. And again, we're still holding onto the ball. It looks like we're working it relatively well, but I think when I make my substitutions, I'm going to switch to that 2-striker formation, because at the moment we're not doing anything damaging. Let's try and make that change now. So take off Kessie, let's drop Hakan, bring on Bonaventura. Green's had a good game, so I can't complain. Actually, that's the wrong change to make. How do I change that again? So let me bring on Musacchio had a poor game, and so has Rodriguez. So I think I will sacrifice Alessio, or is it Matteo Musacchio? I forgot his name. Either way, Bonucci, ball playing defender. He's just yellow carded as well. It's just not good. Both our fullbacks performing poorly. Got a lot of, it's too many decisions to make. What we want to do is let Hakan play as a roaming playmaker. Not the best way to use him. This is why I don't want Bonaventura. So what we're going to do is, who's on the bench for me? It's Lucas. Okay, so let's do this then. Hakan hasn't had the best game at the left wing either, but we'll keep him for now. What have I done? I've made such a mess now. Right, so I want Lucas in instead. Move Locatelli as a roaming playmaker. Musakio, I don't want you on the pitch. I want to bring on Nikola Kalinic. And let's play you as a complete forward on attack. He's a bit more comfortable as an advanced playmaker, so maybe advanced forward, sorry, so let me try that instead. And that's probably our best bet at the moment. Let's move Lucas into defensive midfield strata as well. Gives us better balance overall. And let's go for it. I don't think work ball into the box, so I'll look for overlap as help necessarily. So let's run at defense, hit early crosses, pass in space. Just be as direct as possible. See if those changes make a difference. The highlights continue though. Servi's free, dealt well by Conti eventually. It's a corner for Napoli, who have looked absolutely relentless. We've got 2 strikers on the pitch now. Gone back to a 4-man back line, and if there's ever a time to perform, it's right now. Bonici. Find Nicola well. Trying to hit them on the counter. This highlight's not ending either, so maybe we could do it if he just finds his teammate. Barini's there. Can he find 3 players in the box? Locatelli's there, and he finishes, and we hit them on the counter. It's 2-2. The game is very much open, and one hell of an assist from Barini. He had the vision to find Locatelli, who's playing as a roaming playmaker now and enjoying that more advanced role. Look at this for a counter. One hell of a bit of play there. Immediately, as soon as we switch to a 2-striker formation, my direct tactic just works so much better, and it makes sense, but it's just I couldn't afford to keep one of my central defenders out, I guess. But next season, definitely be working with the tactic that you just saw, and hopefully we can reap the benefits from it as well. But thankfully, 2-2, but we're going to need another. And, Inter winning their game. I'll have a look at the... I'm not really a fan of the live match stats kind of thing, because it's quite worrying in truth and just makes matters worse for me. Locatelli though is tired now, so I think could move Hakan there and now bring on Bonaventura. And Barini's just gonna have to stay on the pitch because there's no way I can take him off for Suso. Despite Suso being the better player, Barini's just had one hell of a game. There's an immediate highlight to that substitution that we just made, so I'm hoping it's a good one. And Lucas can find Silva well. Can you find a teammate? Barini, what can he do this time? Out to Conti. Delivery from early does... Oh, almost, there's 3 players in there. It wasn't too difficult to find someone, but Napoli survived that attack and they're going to come forward at us now instead. Milik. He's not that central, which works in our favour, but Callion can find a teammate here instead. Servi. We need to stop that delivery. That shouldn't be happening. That's just poor defending overall. Let's concentrate. And in just a moment, I'm going to go into roam positions and be more expressive. But right now, defensively, we don't look too good against Napoli. And here they are with the ball again. Callion's going to try and win it. Just heads it on to our player, so it's fine. We'll deal with that. And Rodriguez can find Hakan, the roaming playmaker. What can he create? Forward. Being a bit too eager with our attacking, and Napoli are trying to hit us on the counter, but they're not committing their men forward. I think they're happy with a draw, but the more they build, the more they lower their tempo and play slowly. That doesn't work in our favour at all. Bonici's there, but Callion's free again, and some of our players are making some seriously strange decision making. Manoli just lobs it forward to Bonaventura. He's just hoping for the best at this point, but we need some smarter decisions at the moment. Silva through. No, he goes for the shot instead. Alright, let's roam from positions and be more expressive, just to be that bit more attacking, even though we keep getting exposed defensively. Oh, that's good. That's good from Donnarumma. Almost an own goal by Silva, like I says. Fiorentina are losing, so we desperately need the win. They're losing 3-1 now. We can go above them if we get the result. And this is very dramatic stuff. Barini picks up the ball, but apparently nothing comes of it. But there's an immediate highlight after that. Nicola rises. He shouldn't be the one who's trying to win the ball. It should be Silva. I'm tempted to play Nicola as a complete forward on attack because it gives us that bit better movement than we're currently getting from him, I think. But Napoli committing the men forward this time, and a lot of them are in the box right now. Gulam, Milik's free. That's over again, but something needs to be done about this defending. I think I want to play a deeper line, but maybe that will draw them in a bit more. They're going for the win as well. Maybe we should. Inter drawing as well. This is very difficult right now. I don't know whether to play a deeper line or just hope for the best. I'm pretty sure Milik will take advantage of a deeper line. I want to go into overload for the last 10, but Napoli are very attacking themselves. Don't tell me to hit this on the counter. Conti back to Hakan, is that? Come on, good delivery please. Far post, who's there? Bonaventura. Can't head that, he's never going to win it. You can pick up the pieces. Lucas, smart decisions please on me. Forward to Nicola, through to Bonaventura. Can he finish? No, he can't. And of all the players to leave it down to, it falls to him, who's disappointed us in previous episodes as well. And he's done it once more. Napoli are trying to go for it here. Milik, forward to Hamsik. They're throwing everyone forward. Gulam on the overlap. Technically, defensively, we're better because we have a defensive midfielder. We're both playing the same formation, but we've got a defensive midfielder. Our fullbacks play on support and not on attack. And yet it's Napoli rather, who are proving their defensive solidity a bit better, or more so our lack of attacking, I suppose. We're going to go into overload, take more risk, but we're going to play a deeper line just to try and counter-attack or counteract their attacking, I suppose, because right now pretty much anyone can win it. 5 minutes left. We're the fitter side, but are we the more clinical one? A draw is not enough. Napoli with the throw-in. Gulam, Hamsik's there, he's free as well. That long-range shot will take it all day, but he can score those. And just before this highlight goes, I want Nicola to place a complete forward on attack. Or actually, let's give Silva a little go on the left there. See what happens. Nicola rises. Can he win? No, he can't. Koulibaly just down to Hamsik. Poor ball, but we'll take that all day. And Nicola couldn't be found, but Lucas up to Barini again. The players who... Oh, Bonaventura is free. Come on, you have to finish it this time or square it. Good God, this man is going to drive me insane. Both our opportunities fell to him, and both times he's disappointed us. I can't believe the type of chances he's getting as well as the type of chances he's missing. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move Hakan back up there and let Bonaventura play as a Roman playmaker because it's not working for him as an inside forward. 4 minutes. Silva's injured. Oh God. So no way I could just keep him on either way. Let's move Nicolas central. Great. That's pretty much our season over with. Unless Fiorentina loses well. 1 minute left. Bonaventura, what can you do from deeper position? Lucas. Barini's almost free. Conti, he's just going to shoot stupidly. And now Napoli are going to hit us on the counter. 2v2 unless our players can get back on time. Oh, thank God Bonici's there, but it's just forward to Barini. He's going to head it on, but with no two strikers, we can't do anything at this point. Hakan wins it back well though. Nicola, can he find someone free? Back to Hakan? Yes, he does. Tries to switch it. Barini's there. Through. Can't do it. Conti. It's a stupid shot. It says cross, but it's a shot more than a cross. And Napoli survive the attack again. And that's ref should blow the whistle at any point right now. Inter winning their game. Unless Fiorentina won theirs, or even if they lost theirs, we don't get Champions League football. And that is quite disappointing. Kind of sums up our season. Bonaventura missing opportunities that any striker or inside forward should really convert. The ref isn't blowing the whistle just yet. Nicola, can he find Barini free? He tries to, but Barini pulls back his run and instead it just drops to Gulam. And the referee blows the whistle to end misery, I suppose. And that is very disappointing. Where's Bonaventura? Sakio's a 6.4, 6.3 from Kessie. Locatelli came on and had a good game. Came off and had a good game rather. Bonaventura 6.5. Disappointing. Of all the players to have a good game, it's Fabio Barini who stood up for us today. But his efforts weren't enough. And we conceded some silly goals as well. Goals that I don't think should necessarily be converted. But very efficient Napoli side, credit to them. But we're going to have to do better if we want Champions League football next season, or if we even want the league. And that is it. 5th place. Level, better goal difference. Just because Fiorentina beat us before, they are in the Champions League spots. And that's very disappointing that the rules are in their favour. Inter won the game. Fiorentina lost theirs. Verona had nothing to play for, like we talked about, but they still got the result. Inter came through in the 96th minute, and what a way to miss out on Champions League football. Some players are definitely going to be upset after this. See what happens. But I just want to have a look at how many clear-cut chances we made. It says 10-man, AC Milan side get a credible draw, but a win should have been on the table, I think. We grew into the game a lot better. 4 clear-cut chances to Napoli's 1, and we're the ones missing out on Champions League football. That's just terrible. Inconsistencies cost us. Poor form halfway through the season and the beginning of the season cost us as well. And a very strong AC Milan side are going to have to play Europa League football once more. Alright then, we have to set ourselves up well for next season. The truth is, our finances are in a poor state, so even if we do lose both our players there, Musacchio as well as Romagnoli, we should be in a better position financially. The problem is who we replace them with, because we don't have money to actually bring in anyone, so let's see what happens. But yeah, I think that's all for today's episode. We'll be back with the first game of the season next season, and hopefully we're better set up tactically as well as quality-wise. We definitely need some depth. We've got some players coming in, such as Barini and Kessie. Kessie's definitely a top quality player as well as Nicola. I mean, despite his age, he's a quality striker. Barini's only the only one I'm going to complain about, but he's put in a hell of a game last time around to show that he's got a bit of potential. But he's definitely not good enough for us, so if I can move him on, I will try to move him on. That's kind of it. I mean, we've got Herrera coming in, we've got a bunch of these loan players coming in that we're going to try and sell off. Pretty much just keeping Carlos Bacca, who's going to play in our 2-striker formation. And let's hope for a better Serie A game, or Serie A season next time around. Look at that. Quality players there. Look at that. Matteo and Alessio. Appreciate how close we came to it. And they're going to give me another season. That's perfect. We're going to hold on to our players. That's good to see. But anyways, that's all for today's episode. So if you did enjoy it, of course, please hit the like button and subscribe for more Daily Football Manager 2018 content. Of course, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, thank you guys all very much for watching.